Welcome back to Music Rankings, Reviews, and More. And we are recording this on December 8th. So there's pretty much no new albums that are going to be like amazing, God tier, like that kind of stuff that are going to be at the end of this year or let alone released. So this is going to be our top 15 from this year. And you're like, oh my God, you found that many from that year. Yes, we did. I can find 15 of pretty much every year except for 1998. So outside of that year, I can pretty much find it. And we have more albums we like from this year. This is just like the top 15. For me, everything in my 15 I consider great. And there's obviously some good albums outside of that too. This is just like our favorites from this year. We'll try to make it as brief as possible, no more than 30 seconds a pick for each person because we don't want this going 2 hours long. Because that's like basically 45 picks in total because 15 for times three. So
Yeah.
yeah, so this will be interesting. Definitely know there's some that we all haven't heard, but there's a lot that we have in common. I'm sure of that. Looking at my list, at least, I know there's some
Yeah.
we all have.
Oh yeah, no,
So,
there's definitely some we're guaranteed all gonna have.
Yeah, this
yeah,
was
I'd
just
say
a
at
great
least
year for music.
I'd say at least one third of my list we all have in common, like
Most
five
Yeah.
likely.
out of 15 or more. So yeah, how this is gonna work basically is we're gonna go in this order: me, Mariah, and then Christoph. Basically, and then we'll just share our pick. Very brief discussion about it. And this is also we haven't compared our list or like shared our list at all. So like this is our first time hearing our picks, so we have no clue what the order is or what albums. I mean, we have some idea of what the albums are going to be, but not like the most great idea.
Yeah, it'll be genuine reactions. No one knows what anyone else's list is, so.
So for coming in at my 15, I have Rock Believer by the Scorpions. The reason this is here, and again, not going to go too long, this is their best album since like the 90s and the 80s, probably. So, like, this is easily their best album. It actually has like a lot of grit and teeth to the album. It's just really hard rock driven and like more creative than a lot of the stuff they've released in the past. And I really enjoy this one. Again, the only reason it comes in this low and not higher is because I'm just genuinely not a super obsessed like Scorpions fan. Like I'm a mild to like moderate fan. You know what I mean? So I'm not like super obsessed. So based on the style, that's why it comes in at 15. But again, great album, one of the best they've released in like 30 years or more.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a common theme with albums this year. There's quite a few that have been the
Yeah, and
best
then
in
like
years.
the modern bands, it's like one of their better albums, or like some of the best in like maybe 10 years, but not like 30, obviously.
Yeah. But like a
Yeah.
lot of bands, it's their best in decades for sure.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, shows improvement and like you're still like making strides all like decades later. So
Yeah, which is
yeah.
just
Yeah, and that
awesome.
they care to make something good that they're proud of. Like that's really great too.
Yeah.
So, anyway, for me, coming in at number 15 is Patient Number 9 by Ozzy Osbourne.
That's it. That's a good
Nice.
one. It didn't make my list, but I respect that pick.
Nice.
The reason the reason it's at number 15, and I still like this album quite a bit. I had pretty high expectations because I loved 2020's Ordinary Man.
Right.
And this one, so we're ranking albums. We're not ranking singles. It works well as individual songs, but I think the fact that there's different guitar guests on all of it, on each song, kind of hurts it because it takes you out of that album listen. You feel like this is singles and it doesn't really flow cohesively as an album, and there's some songs that are just too weird that I didn't care for, but overall pretty good. I mean, the song Patient Number 9 is great.
Okay, this is just the quickest thought ever. I'll let you go back to talking. I agree with that on an album, but live, that is like the best thing you can ask for. Like when I saw Death Cab live, they changed out their guitars like basically every song. Sounded great. So
Yeah, and
yeah.
I'm not talking about guitars. It's different guitar people. It's
That's
it's
true.
Oh
people with
yeah,
completely different styles.
no. That's a no for me. That's just a no.
Personally, I
Yeah, I
find
mean,
it pretty
Generally,
cool, but I get that like it doesn't flow as
it
well.
doesn't
But
flow well. I find it
yeah, it
cool as
doesn't
well, totally, but it
flow
doesn't
yeah,
flow.
right. You've got the Pearl Jam guitarist, and then you have Tony Iommi, and then you have you got all Zach Wild. It's just all these very different guitar people who are great and talented. Coming in at 15 for me.
Nice, yeah.
yeah.
Two good picks so far, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah.
All right, so for my number 15, this album is not super well known, but it's The End Game by Tree, and it's a Swedish melodic rock band. I'm a big fan of just the genre and bands from Sweden in general, but it's just a pretty good melodic rock band. Like, I'd say all the albums above it, are better, obviously, but really liked this album when it came out and thought it was pretty good.
All right, we're already to an album I don't know, so congratulations, I guess. I thought this would take a bit of time to get there, but I mean, I do like that genre of music. Very interesting genre for sure. So I'm sure I'd like
Yeah.
it. I just haven't heard of it.
The way I
Yeah, that's
discover,
an album I'm meaning to hear, but I haven't done it yet. I just didn't get
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is with like a lot of these albums, it's like the Frontiers record label, and they publish like a ton of like melodic rock and hard rock, and like I usually check out
Yeah.
their releases, and they're all
Yeah, I
pretty
do
good.
try to as well. We all know this band, but I guarantee you haven't heard this album specifically or yeah, or didn't put it on here. So this one is definitely different from their other albums, but this is The Car from Arctic Monkeys, which was released on my birthday actually. So that is pretty interesting. It's obviously everyone knows AM from 2013, which is like very like, rockin' and stuff. This is not that at all. This is like very 60s pop inspired actually, and it's like very melodic and atmospheric. So it's like a totally different thing, but that's totally like right up what I would listen to. It's pretty consistent now though. Because of that genre, it can get a little like bland and boring at times, but most of it is really solid, good stuff. And like, there's some stuff that just sounds like beautiful, like the melodies here are just great. So that's why it comes in here.
Nice. That was another one that I didn't get to listening to. It was one of the ones that was on my list, and I
Yeah,
just
like
had
I
to
said,
like,
we all know this band, but like I'm sure you haven't listened to it, let alone it's on this list.
No,
So
I haven't yet.
yeah, I haven't
yeah.
yet. I'm meaning to. I don't think it would make my top 15 just because that's not my favorite kind of music, but I bet I'd still like it.
Well, most of their music isn't even like this album, so they're still continuing to like reinvent themselves, like even like about 2 decades later. So
That's
that's
cool.
Which
cool.
I appreciate a lot. I love when bands do that.
Yeah, some people complain about this album, which I genuinely don't understand. Like they don't hate it, but they just think it's like average, which I understand that, but like at the same time I don't. So yeah.
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 For me, coming in at number 14 was The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead by Megadeth. I liked
Yeah.
it.
Nice.
It was a great album, but kind of like you said with Scorpions, I'm not the biggest Megadeth fan. I listened to, I think it was Rust in Peace, and it did nothing for me, and I gotta try again, but
That's fair.
it,
Yeah.
I appreciated this album a lot. I liked it. There are some great songs on it, and it'll probably even grow on me more as I listen to it more than twice. But yeah, number 14 for me. We'll be back, and there's some good songs on it for sure.
Yeah, so spoiler alert, this did not make my list. Personally, I do think that this style, you're gonna hate me, but I think this is just a fact that everyone knows is true, even people that like this music. It's kind of outdated, this style, I think, to an extent, not to like a major extent or anything like that. But yeah, it's just not the most like something I would want to listen to personally. And also like Dave Mustaine never been a great singer. And that was 40 years ago. The guitar is still sharp, of course, but like this, yeah, it's a good
I
album, but
like
not great.
lyrically, I thought it was good. And like the lyrics didn't the voice didn't bother me too much. I like the guitar, but we're none of us are metalheads. Well, at least you
Yeah.
and I are not metalheads.
No,
So
I'm
I
not
think I
either.
have like I think I only have like one metal album on my. Yeah, I do. Only one.
yeah, I have one. I think I have one or maybe two. But
I have like
so
1 to 2 ish.
the
Yeah.
fact that this even made it in my top 15 is pretty impressive, given that I wasn't a Megadeth fan and I don't really like metal. But it's solid for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Just not
Yeah.
my thing.
Yeah. Like that's why it's not higher up for you. I understand that, but it is good. It is a solid record. It's not bad. Yeah.
No, it's not bad by any stretch, and I know it's an improvement from what I've heard on previous records that they've come out with recently, so that's also great to hear.
All right. So my number 14, again, this one isn't super well known, but I there will be a good amount of well known ones later on my list. But so this one is Gone to Stay by John Norum, the Europe guitarist. This actually released like late October, so it's pretty new, but it's just like melodic hard rock. Pretty good. The guitar is great. I mean, he's a great guitarist, love him. Vocals are
Mm-hmm.
good, but like he's not as good as like Joey Tempest from Europe, of course, but I still like it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a high bar.
I don't know anything from his solo stuff, and I also do not know the sound, let alone did I listen to it now. But I will say I'm sure it is good because I love his guitar playing, great
Yeah.
tone. So yeah.
Kind of same thing. Like, I'm sure it's good. I haven't heard it, but I like Europe and I like his playing. So
Hmm.
Hmm. Okay, so kill me because I'm probably the only person that actually put two albums by one band on this list. You probably know who I'm talking about. Christoph doesn't.
I think
I
I do.
have
yeah, I did
the
too, though.
first, second album released this year by this band, Return of the Dream Canteen from the Red
Yeah.
Hot Chili Peppers. This one I don't really like as much as the first one, although just because there are much weaker songs and it's not as consistent, and the top songs are also not as good, but it still has some really great tunes. It's really creative too, I think. There's a lot of stuff they haven't done in their career before in here, and that might be part of the reason I don't like it as much as the other one. So it is the second one released this year. It hasn't had as much time to grow on me as obviously the first one because that's been out since like March. Yeah. So, but still a really consistent record. Okay, no, I can't say that. But a pretty consistent record for the most part, outside of that one stupid song. What's it called?
My
You know it.
cigarette, that
Yeah, that doesn't even
one.
sound like their sound, and it's just repeating "my cigarette," literally that lyric over again.
And it's
Other
not
than
even
that
my
song,
cigarette.
it's a
It's
pretty good album.
my cigarette. It's too many my's.
Yeah, but outside of that clunker song, I think it's a pretty consistent album for the most part, which has some great top songs. Also, the guitar playing, just
Oh yeah, no, the guitar playing is always, and the bass, the drums, like
oh
the
the
instrumentals are on
bass,
point.
yeah,
So, coming in at number 13 for me is Rock Believer by the Scorpions.
yeah. Let's go.
So, for some
Mhm.
reason, I thought I'd heard this album at the beginning of the year, but really I'd only heard about half of it, so I went back and listened to the rest. And really solid. I don't have much more to say than what you said about it's the best probably since Crazy World in 1990.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Hmm.
Um,
I will say this one probably has more like balls or teeth, whatever you want to call it, than Crazy World did. But I mean, I still like that album too.
yeah, I do too, but
Yeah.
I really and I don't know Crazy World super well. I'm not. This could have been higher if I was a bigger Scorpions fan.
That's what I'm saying. Like I like it's very consistent, but I'm just not as huge of a fan of their style. Cause like, yeah,
It's understandable.
Yeah, so
but I
great
do
album.
really
If
like
you're a
them still.
Scorpions fan, you're gonna love it. Like it's fantastic, and I love the title track and a bunch of the other ones. Great album. I mean, I love all my top 15. So
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though it came in at 15 for me, I knew it was going to make it. Question was where, but I knew it was going to make it. There's no way it would have been outside of my top 15.
yeah,
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So number 13 for mine, I have The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead by Megadeth. So I do think
Right.
it is really good, but like as you said, the vocals, Dave Mustaine, he's never been great. The guitar, I do love the guitar. He's a great guitarist. Drumming is really good too, and like it's a good album, but it's not one I would revisit often because it's just like it's not my go-to style. Plus, Dave Mustaine's vocals is
Yeah.
just kind of a turn off.
Hmm.
yeah. I don't mind his vocals, but it's none of our genre. Like none of us are metalheads.
I mean,
Right. Like
don't get me wrong. I do love metal, but like it's not my go-to. But like especially like
it's like
Megadeth
in
isn't
limited
one of my
doses.
favorites. Like Iron Maiden and Metallica, like those are some of my favorites. Like I could always go back to them, but Megadeth is like sometimes I listen to them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, same. I grew up on Metallica and some Iron Maiden, so I always like them. But other metal bands, it's hit and miss for sure.
It's fine. We can
Coming
move on.
on, this is number 12. Just a brief introduction. I guarantee you, Mariah doesn't know this band album or has listened to it. Christoph knows the band for sure,
Okay, we'll
maybe knows
see.
the album.
We'll
It's
see.
from this year, and the only reason I know this album is because I've seen this band in concert. So this is External Combustion from Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs.
Oh, I haven't really, besides like the
Yeah,
concert, I haven't really listened to stuff much. So
I've heard
I
of
did.
it. I've heard of the band because you guys were talking about when you saw them opening for, was it AWOL Nation in concert?
no,
The
the
Who.
Who.
The Who, that's
Yeah,
right. Yes, I've heard of
Mhm.
them. I've not heard a single song by them though, so.
yeah.
Yeah, I listened to it and like I listened to the opening track, which was like really fire, and it got me like hooked onto the whole thing. And so it's a really consistent album. There's nothing on here that's bad at all. There's obviously weaker tracks and stronger tracks, but nothing on here is weak. It's all pretty good or great. It sounds really like Tom Petty. I mean, obviously because Mike Campbell was in the Heartbreakers, but it actually is more rocking than most Tom Petty stuff too, which I find kind of
Cool.
funny. Which is nice actually because I mean, obviously I prefer the Heartbreakers by a lot just because they have more records and they have better top records. But this is like a great album, great modern record. So if you like Tom Petty, but like a little bit more rock and roll, you'll love this album. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
I
I'll
gotta
say.
Is
check that out.
probably what I'd like. So I will
Yeah.
definitely have to check that out. Is it their debut?
No, it's second record.
Okay, so coming in at number 12 for me, which has been previously said, it is the set. It's one of it's the band put out two albums this year.
Hmm.
Their
Okay, I
second
already
one,
know which one this is then because
yeah,
we've already
Return
kind
of the
of,
Dream Canteen by Red Hot Chili Peppers, and it's
hey,
funny.
almost the same place too.
I know. It was just at 12 instead of 13, but
Mm-hmm.
the the only the so I know this is kind of here because I loved Unlimited Love way more. Like
Same.
I streamed the crap out of Unlimited Love, and
Mm-hmm.
I haven't so much out of Return of the Dream Canteen. I It's good. It's not as much my style. It's got some songs that I'm just kind of meh on. It's got
Yeah,
some
that's
great
the
songs, but
difference.
overall, like honestly, if you'd taken my favorite one, which I'm not even sure what that is because I just haven't heard it enough, if you'd taken that and replaced it with like the last song on Unlimited Love, I would prefer like almost all Unlimited Love.
Mm-hmm.
Tangelo's not my favorite off of Unlimited Love for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. I will say though, if you combine these records, you probably have the greatest record they've ever made. But obviously, of course, they didn't do that, which I honestly feel like was a bit of a mistake. But it's okay. Um, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
true. I mean, I feel like if you combine the top songs from both of these,
Mm-hmm.
mostly Unlimited Love, it'd just be such a killer album. Not that I'm
Oh,
mad because I can create my own album if I want to. Like I can just put in a playlist. Um,
yeah.
but no, still solid. Instrumentals are great, just not as good as the other one, and it's not as much my favorite, I guess. I like it though.
Yeah, that's basically what I said because I mean we had in the same place, so we kind of have the same opinion on it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
literally exactly what you said is exactly what I would say for it. So just
Mm-hmm.
times two what you said.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to listen to either of those albums fully yet, but I got it
Or the
sometime.
band, period,
No, I've
probably. But
listened to the
yeah, you
band,
should.
like I've listened to some of the songs like on shuffle, but I haven't fully listened to them yet.
Yeah.
That you haven't heard Unlimited Love yet makes me sad. That is such a good
I just
record.
haven't gotten to it.
Yeah.
I plan to
I mean, I
sometime.
understand that. I understand that
There's
Yeah.
for
so
sure.
much. Like I have over like 50 total
Obviously,
albums this year added,
obviously
so
we haven't talked about it yet, but it's not coming up like any time in the next like two picks or anything like that. I'll give you that as a spoiler.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's got a little while to go.
Yeah, same here. Okay, so Christoph, 12.
okay, number 12. I guarantee either of you don't have this on your list, but
Okay.
basically I have Mercury Act 2 by Imagine Dragons, so I am a big fan of this band. Shut up. But basically, I do really like this album, although like it's far from their other albums in my opinion, and like I liked it, but like in terms of instrumentals, it's way more light. A lot of the songs are just really light instrumentals, and like it's a lot more focused on the lyrics, which I do like, and it's more has some like pretty emotional songs about like death and like depression and like some different stuff, which is cool to see, but like it's just not my go-to, and it's more just like
Oh yeah, same. I can relate there.
the anyways, but like I do still really like it, but it's just more focused on like the lyrics and emotion rather than like instrumentals like from their past albums. But yeah,
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm just glad it didn't end up like in the top five or something like that. We were a
Yeah,
little
I did
worried.
yeah.
too
The thing is,
actually.
there's too many like songs on here that are kind of just like boring or just like mediocre. Like I still
Yeah,
like
isn't
them,
it
but
like a lot of tracks though too? I don't really
it's
remember because I did
yeah,
listen to
it's
it. So it's not
18
like I didn't go to the
tracks. It's 18 tracks, and like a good amount are
Yeah,
kind
see,
of boring, but
that's tough.
That's like the Chili Peppers album, but like even
I
longer
know.
sometimes.
There's
yeah.
17 on Return of the Dream Canteen, and I feel like they could have cut a couple of them off and
And
been
then
Well,
fine.
hey, wait, but Unlimited Love has the same
And
number.
then there's also like some that are like really overrated, like Bones. I don't really like that song, even as a big
Oh,
fan.
same.
it's just boring. It's kind of annoying, and it's
I
just like
agree.
I don't know. I don't really like it. But my favorite on this one is actually Younger, which has like a really nice guitar solo. So yeah.
See, and that's like one thing I thought I would never hear is that they actually do guitar solos,
Oh,
but
they
that's
actually
besides the
they
point.
actually have a lot of guitar solos. It just kind of
Just
depends.
not in their hit songs.
Pretty much, yeah. Like you're not gonna hear guitar solo in Thunder or Believer,
Or believe, especially not Thunder with the
especially
thunder.
not. But that's besides the point. So yeah.
All right. So yeah, these are that. This is the album that just missed the top 10 for us, number 11. So this is again a band we all know. You might have heard the album. It probably didn't make the list because I feel like this would be too high if you guys had it higher for you guys. But this is Digital Noise Alliance from Queensryche. This is such a heavy, great album. This is what I meant when I said it's the only metal album that I actually probably have on here because it has like some of those like Soundgarden kind of like inspired riffs, almost kind of. I feel so, and I obviously like those riffs. So yeah, I don't have too much to say. I really haven't got the chance to listen to this one like too much in depth or anything or that much, but it's just a great overall sound and like very cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Christoph.
I haven't actually gotten the chance to listen to it. I added it when it came out and I was gonna listen to it, but I just kind of forgot about it and now it's just like unlistened. But I'm not a big fan of Queensryche, but I do like them a
Neither
good
am I,
amount.
but it's just like, yeah.
Yeah, and like I saw them in concert, they were pretty good. It was cool. But I still gotta
Yeah,
check
I'm
that
not a huge
album out
fan either,
sometime.
but it's just like a really cool sound for this album. Like very polished, but also very like heavy and like cool,
Yeah, I
good
gotta
neck,
check that
all
out
that good
sometime.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is going to be further up on my list. I don't I
Oh,
made
really? Okay, I didn't see that coming.
yeah, no, I made a tweet about it. And the thing that was the funniest to me is that they have a cover of Rebel Yell by Billy
Yeah,
Idol at the
I
end.
saw that. That's
It was
interesting.
really good though too.
It was,
Yeah,
yeah, like I was impressed, but it came out of
they didn't
nowhere.
fuck
And
it up. So,
Queensryche, the only album I've heard is Operation Mindcrime, which is a concept album that they did, which is great.
Hmm.
But I hadn't
hmm
heard anything else from them, and this was
yeah,
solid.
kind of
This did not
same.
disappoint.
Yeah, this is the second album I really like heard by them, or at least an in-depth version. So great, great stuff.
I like that they had slow songs too. It wasn't all metal because I like when bands have a variety. This coming at number 11 is one I know both of you guys have heard, but I don't think it made your top 15.
Okay.
We'll see.
Second Skin by Iconic.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
it
great
didn't
album.
make mine, but I kind of almost forgot about that. But it is a great album. I think it was like 16 or 17. It was
I
close.
would just say
Nice,
it is on my list, but I haven't gotten to it yet. So
Oh, nice.
nice.
Yeah, it was really close to making mine. I'm pretty sure it
yeah.
was 16, so it was like one spot away. Yeah.
Yeah, so for me with this album, there's the reason. So the top songs I really, really like that I listen to them a lot. There's some songs that just aren't as memorable to me, and I still don't remember it, partly because the
Yeah,
titles are kind of boring, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I get
Um,
that.
yeah, like, This Way, All About, they're not that, like, they don't really, like, I don't really think of lyrics as much in my head, but
Yeah.
All I Need, Fast as You Can, it Ain't Over. There's a lot of really good ones off this one. I really, really liked it. And it's a new band, too. It's like a new super group, and
Yeah.
someone recommended it to me on
I think
Twitter, and
that
it
was
was great.
probably me because it's also from the Frontiers
It
label.
was
So
you. Yeah, it was
yeah,
you. At least
like
for me, that's
I
how I
try to
figured
stay
it out.
updated with their releases because pretty much I honestly like all their stuff they release. Like it's surprising, but yeah.
No, it was a
I
woman
mean,
named
not
Kathy
really.
on Twitter, and then I saw you were
Yeah.
listening to it as I was listening to it.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, no, great
That's cool
stuff.
though.
So
So my number 11, I have Four by Slash featuring Miles Kennedy and Conspirators. I kind of forgot about this album because this released in like February, which feels like so long ago now. But
It is, though.
I skimmed through the album a bit before ranking, and it's pretty good. I mean, as I said, I kind of forgot about it, but Slash is a great guitarist. It's just really good. Miles Kennedy, pretty good vocals. Like, I mean, you could debate it's like who's better, Axl Rose or him, but like I just so obviously prefer Guns N' Roses 'cause just like the style and whatever. But it's still a pretty good album.
Yeah, it didn't make my list, spoiler alert, but honestly, I feel like you guys really aren't that surprised by that. And it's not a diss at all. because I actually did get the chance to listen to it, but it's just because there was a lot of great stuff from this
For
year.
sure.
So contradicting what a lot of people probably would say, yet they probably also don't know like half of these albums. So
Yeah, no, it was a really great year. Like the year I have to leave off an album where I liked every track on it, it just wasn't as good. That tells you it's a great year. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
right, because
Same goes for me.
you had so many great comebacks that were like legendary comebacks, and then you also had so many like great new records that were like one of their betters. So it's like great.
Yeah.
so any of them that didn't make my list, it wasn't because I didn't like it. Like I still love Patient Number 9, but it's just there's just so many good ones.
All right, so kicking off the top 10, you probably both know the band. I don't know who knows it better. You may or may not have heard the album, but I do guarantee it's not on the list because the style is both not as much your thing as it is mine. But this was actually like probably the first album of anything on this list to ever be released. It came out January 14th, so it's like barely
Hmm.
2022,
Yeah.
but this is Brightside by the Lumineers. So this isn't even like my favorite album by them. I'm pretty sure I'd rank it like third because like Cleopatra and like literally it's called Three, or I prefer those. But this is pretty good. It has some great songs. There's also this song called like Birthday, not like Happy Birthday too. That shit. But it has this very like you can't always get what you want, like kind of feel to it, and like the melody's very similar, so it's like very cool. But besides that song too, there's like a lot of other really good songs. There is like maybe one or two I'm not as huge on because of the style, because sometimes the style doesn't always pull me in, but mostly it does. So it's pretty consistent. I do remember giving this a lot of listens just because it's the oldest album on here on my list. It came back in January, which is nearly almost a year ago exactly from this point. So yeah, just a really great like modern like folk rock record.
Nice. Nice. I've heard Cleopatra. I haven't heard any of their other
That's
albums
from
yet. I'm meaning to.
2016. That's their
Yeah.
best album for sure, in my opinion.
Well, you recommended it to me as the best album, so
Well, it's one of my favorite albums in general, just because, like, yeah. But
but
yeah,
yeah, so I haven't heard the new one. All right, number 10 for me is one that neither of you have heard of, and
we'll see.
probably a lot of people listening haven't heard of, and it is called Bloor Street by Kiefer Sutherland.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, I
he's
haven't.
yeah, I know you guys had. It's like a mix of like country and soul and rock. Like it's a really really cool combination of things.
Hmm.
This is his third album. I'm a massive fan of the other two. In fact, I think his first album is in like my top 10 most listened to albums on Spotify. Like I listened to
Interesting.
that nonstop for like 2 years. Anyway, great stuff. I've seen him in concert once. Fantastic. Favorites of these were Two Stepping in Time, County Jailgate. Just a really, really cool album for sure.
Yeah.
Not my usual style. It's my only one that's not like really rock. It's, country, soul, rock, a little bit of jazz, stuff like that, but it's
I
really
can
cool.
already tell you my dad wouldn't listen to it if it has anything to do with country at all. But I mean, I'm sure I'd give it a chance. But yeah.
It's not country like the basic country where like I lost
Yeah,
my
I
dog,
know.
Oh
I
yeah.
lost my truck, because like I don't
They
do
don't
that.
talk
This one
about
is like
that. They
really,
talk
really well
about beer
thought out,
and trucks. But yeah.
and there's really good guitar work on it, so I really like it.
Sounds interesting.
Nice.
Has to have made number 10. So anyway,
All right. So my number 10, the one Mariah had 11, Second Skin by Iconic. Just really good
Nice.
album. I love the style. It's just really good. Although I will say it's a little bit forgettable. Like I do really like it, but the song titles are kind of generic, and like all the songs they kind of blend together. That's not a bad thing. Like it's pretty
They definitely
consistent.
do.
Like
They
I
flow
like it a
well
lot
together. That's
because
the one.
it's really consistent, but there's no like standout tracks for me. I mean, I haven't listened to it in a while, but still, it's just like they're all pretty good, I'd say.
Yeah.
yeah, I'd agree with that. It's solid, kind of blends together, generic song titles. I just think bands need to make really some interesting song titles
It's true. Like
Hmm.
I
sometimes.
do love AOR melodic rock, but like that is a problem sometimes. Like they do sound a bit too generic and like the samey, but like that's not
Yeah.
a bad thing. It's just not as
Not the
good.
top, not the best and top records in the genre though. It's like very diverse, but like
Yeah,
some of the like some of the stuff like now in AOR can sound like a little too similar. Not complaining because it sounds great still, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I have that problem not with the music, but with some of the titles of post Perry Journey. Some of the titles are too similar to me, and so then I'm like, oh, what is this song? And then I hear it, and I'm like, oh, I know that song.
All right, moving into the single digits now at number 9, a band that I guarantee you both have heard of, but I guarantee you this album is not on your list, let alone heard it. So this is Born for This Moment by Chicago, which was released about the mid-year section, so that was like July. This is like actually their album with a new singer, so kind of like what Skid Row was doing as well. But great new singer who has a great voice. I don't remember his name to be honest, but at the moment, yeah. So just a really great, like it keeps the the horns and like the jazz influence in there, and they kind of bring that back. A lot of great guitar stuff. Obviously, not as great as like they were back in like the late '60s and late '70s because they don't have Terry Kath anymore. It's one of the all-time greats, but yeah, they don't have that anymore. So like that's a bit of a disappointment. But I love pretty much everything they did in the '60s and '70s. I like half of what they did in the '80s. I like one album in the '90s. I don't care for any of their 2000s and 2010 stuff, really, mostly because it's just kind of bland. But this is like not as bland as those records. It's definitely a comeback record in my opinion. Definitely their best since like I'd say 1995. So pretty good.
Nice. The 2000, like the 2020s are coming back with so many great comeback albums.
For
Like,
sure.
Yeah.
It's awesome. All right, so number 9, an album I know both of you have heard and is probably higher up on your list, Asphalt Meadows by Death Cab for Cutie.
Boo. Should be higher. No, I'm kidding.
Hey,
Great
it made
album.
top 10, and I love those other records.
This is gonna be a bit before we get to that album for me. So like, yeah.
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 But
I'm
I
not,
Anyway, I love it.
it's good it's on your list. It's a great
Probably
album.
no, it is, and I love Death Cab for Cutie. It's not my go-to genre, so I haven't listened to it as much as some of the other ones. So that definitely plays a part for sure.
Right.
I think it just
makes sense.
I like it, but I haven't heard it. Here to Forever is probably my favorite one.
Great one.
Not for me. I mean, I really liked it when it came out, and I still really, really like it now. But like, some of the deep cuts on here are just so good. Like, Foxglove, even though it was a single, I'd still consider a deep cut. Very complex song, and then obviously like there's other songs. I'll talk about it when it's my turn to talk about it, which will be a lot later.
I really liked, but
none of the songs on here though sound the same, though. I will say that.
No, I will
which I
say
do
that
respect.
when you're in the mood, this album is perfect because it's really relaxing. But it's
For
just not my
sure.
go-to. But it's amazing
Always
for what it is.
perfect.
Yeah.
So still made it at number 9.
Yep. Nice.
All right.
So my number 9. So fittingly, I have patient number 9, Ozzy Osbourne, at number 9. That was a coincidence, but anyways.
Nice.
So
Nice.
I really like this album a lot. Been listening to it a good amount. This is probably my favorite Ozzy solo album since No More Tears, I'd say. And I really like how it's featuring a bunch of like different guitarists. I do understand like it doesn't flow as well, but I just find like it a really cool concept. And the title track is amazing. I love that.
Nice. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah,
I do know
Jack, my brother, has been obsessed with the title track. Like that's all he's listening to lately,
It's
and
a
he
great
loves
song.
it. No, it is, and I like it, but I'll definitely take 2020 or the 20 Ordinary Man over it. But yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So moving on to number 8 now, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So this is an album a band too that you guys have never heard of. Granted, they don't have that many followers, but I only learned about it because I just learn about stuff from a lot of obscure places. So this is It's a Dream by Hembre, which is basically like a modern indie / alt rock band, probably more to the indie side because they don't. Yeah, I wasn't asking for that because I already knew that. It's very toned down and like a lot more toned down than like Asphalt Meadows, for example, which is like the other one I was talking about that's pretty high up on the list. So this one comes in at number 8. Obviously, Asphalt Meadows is not here yet because I haven't mentioned it, but this is like a really great record. Like if you're in the mood for it, and it's like very like calming and like slow, but it can also like take it up like a notch, but it's still not like very upbeat. Just very good, like modern indie rock, like at its best, really. So
Nice.
Nice.
yeah,
For me, coming in at number 8 is one you guys have not heard, but you should hear it because it's
see,
really, really good. And
All right.
I only heard it recently, but honestly, I can see it like moving much higher up on the list. Like I was really shocked at how good it was, and it is Kings and Pawns by Alter Bridge.
I've heard of that album, but I haven't like listened to it. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's so good. The first track, really, I just liked all of them, and it's really probably lower on this list because most of the ones above it I've heard a bunch of times, so I'm really a lot more connected to them. Because this one I heard this week, but um, great album for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. My number 8 is again this one that isn't very popular, but I still really like it. So this one is Closer to the Edge by First Signal. I discovered this band about like a year ago,
Oh, nice.
maybe. A great melodic rock band, and this album really good. It's by the Frontiers rock label. Again, I discovered a lot of it through there. And just, I love the vocals, I love the synth, I love the guitar. It's very melodic, of course, and it's just great.
Yeah. What is that like the 15th melodic AOR rock record that you went? No, I'm kidding. I'm just joking. But you have quite had quite a bit. No
It's just,
judgment,
I mean, it's one
obviously.
of my
Just
favorite
like
styles. Like, it's my
I mean,
one of my
same. I can't. I'm
go-tos.
not judging you at all.
Yeah.
It's not like a lot of pop albums. I mean, almost all of ours are rock. Only one of mine is not primarily rock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much same here, which I've already mentioned it. So it's like
Same,
whatever.
same.
Moving up to number 7, I promise you this is the last one you will not know because all my top six we all either have or know or one of you has it or yeah, whatever. So this is Out of Sight by the Sheepdogs. So basically what this
Mm.
is it's like very like it's like a mix of like mostly southern rock and like psychedelic, but it's like modern and it's by a modern band, so it's not like a comeback album or anything. But it does sound like a comeback album, just like the because it's like more of the older style, but they do it really well. And it's probably my favorite record by them. And they actually have quite a bit of records, so that does say a lot. So it did get pretty high up, and like all the songs are here are really consistent. So great record.
Hmm.
Nice. So it was funny because we talked about there being like for us uh spots with the same two spots with the same band, and I just realized that I also have two spots with the same singer and they're right next to each other because number 7 is 4 by Slash and Miles Kennedy is
Oh,
also the singer for Alter Bridge.
Oh,
Um
interesting.
oh, nice. I didn't know that actually.
yeah, yeah, and honestly, I almost put the Alter Bridge album above Slash's, and as much as I love it, like the Alter Bridge album was just it was really really cool. It was a really cool mix of things. But anyway, number 4 or 4 by Slash, some great albums. I think
Well, we're at number 7, not number 4, but yeah.
oh yeah, number 7, whatever number it was. I yeah. But anyway, there's some great songs on here. Fall Back to Earth, I think, is my favorite one. It's the one that closes it off. It's just a really, really cool, really ambitious song. And
Hmm.
Fill My World is the other one, and I
That
kind of
one's really
like it
good.
because it's about a dog who is away from his owner and missing his owner, so I thought that was kind of sweet. But
Also,
Nice.
can I just say I forgot which song it was, but there's one song on this album that has like a similar riff to Sweet Child of Mine, kind of. I don't know if
Fall
you
Back
noticed
to
that.
Earth, I
I think
think.
that's the one. It has a pretty similar riff, and I really like that.
Yeah, I
Yeah, that was my
mean, no
favorite one.
wonder it's the
It's
same
super cool.
guitarist, so like
Yeah, I
you
mean it's
can't, it's
Slash
not
after all, so
plagiarizing really. So yeah.
it's pretty cool
Yeah.
callback. Like it's different enough, but it's kind of similar. So
Oh, and there was no song I didn't like, which is pretty cool. Like I don't there's not as much big of top songs as some other albums, but every song
true.
is solid, so
Yeah, I agree. So number 7, surprise, surprise, it's another melodic rock album. So this one is Complicated by Jeff Scott Soto. I feel this one feels like
Nice.
long ago for some reason. It was in April, but
That is long ago
yeah,
from
it's
now.
true. But again, it's great melodic hard rock. The vocals, I love Jeff Scott Soto's vocals. He has like a lot of power and like a lot of melody kind of. The guitar, it slaps. It's just great. And my favorite songs are "Love Is the Revolution" and "Last to Know." It's really good.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I know who he is obviously because I know like the whole like journey, lore, discography, whatever.
Yeah, there's quite a lot to
Basically,
that.
and the information revolving around it. So, anyways, we get into the top six here. This is the record that just missed out on the top five, so it was really close. This actually is very close to my number five. I mean, really, everything in my top six is so
All
darn
my
close.
top
It's
six I
insane.
love.
Same.
I could have
Same.
Yeah.
I
changed.
could have almost put them in any order and been happy.
Me too. Like it
No,
just
I
depends
mean,
on
I
what I feel
definitely
like,
can't
kind of.
switch six and one though. I will say that. Like it is really close, but obviously, like it gets a little bit better. It goes on. So like once it's like 6-1, there is a bit of
Yeah.
space, you know.
Anyways,
Yeah.
So since we all know these six, to some extent, whether or not they're going to be in your guys' top six, we will see. But I'm not going to give introductions. I'm not going to like, so this is kind of a band you may or may, yeah, so I'm not going to do that. So I'll just say number six here, the one that almost made my top five, and this might be a little low for you, is Diamond Star Halos from Def Leppard, which, I mean,
nice, nice.
definitely came back. The reason why it's not higher is because there are some songs that aren't as good. The first three tracks, though, perfect way to kick off an
Totally
album.
agree.
It does get a little bit rocky after that, just because the songs aren't as good as the first three, which I think are like some of their best songs they've made in years, personally. But like,
There are 15 tracks after all.
there's a lot of good riffs on this album. I will say that the vocals are still somehow strong, even though I'm pretty sure I've heard like them complaining about like vocal issues in the past. I don't know.
I
It's
don't think for, and I don't think for them, other bands,
I,
but
I don't know
I don't
how
think for
bold
Def
of a
Leppard.
statement this is, but this is a better album than their 2015 album. It
No, I
is
agree.
better. Okay, good. I was like, it is. Also, this is better than at least everything since 1992's Adrenalize, and it might even be better than that. And
I agree too with
it's
that.
probably their best since 1987's blockbuster album Hysteria. So, I mean,
Which is
it's
a pretty
probably
high bar, which is pretty cool because
yeah,
that was a huge album.
it's probably like their fifth or fourth best album, I would say. So really great stuff here from them. One of their best albums in years. Yeah, and also ironically, the album that beat it out at five is like similar style, kind of. So
Interesting.
Cool.
All right, so number six for me, and I wanted to put this higher, but I can't put it any higher. You guys haven't heard it because I asked.
okay, good.
Back from the Dead by Hailstorm is number six.
I've heard of the
Oh,
band, but I haven't
I've
listened to
heard
the
of the
album.
band, but I haven't heard of the album or like the. I haven't heard the album. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but so this was the one that I heard kind of later in the year. I think it came out in May, but I heard it later because I hadn't gotten around to it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
just really, really incredible. Like the vocals are insane. Like the vocals are crazy good. Favorite songs were Bombshell, Raise Your Horns, Back from the Dead, Psycho Crazy. Really great album. Super solid.
Yeah. Nice.
Six. So I actually also have Diamond Star Hail's Def Leppard. I was tempted to
Yes,
put
let's
this higher.
go. We
I
tied.
love this album. It's great, but like it was really tough like choosing. I was like, oh, I don't know. But like it's a great album. One of the greatest in like decades, probably since like either Adrenalize or Hysteria. It's really
Yep.
consistent. Although like after like the first few tracks, it's not as good, but they're all pretty good songs, I'd say. And my favorites are actually like the first three tracks. Those are my favorites.
Right, those are some of the hits, but like they also have like the best riffs on the album anyway, so
Yeah,
like
great
you can't
riffs.
really criticize. Yeah.
It's interesting because as much as I really like those are not my top favorites. So it'll be
Well,
interesting
yeah,
when I get.
because you're a bigger fan of the band than us, so naturally that's
Yeah,
how it works when you're a bigger fan. Your favorites are usually not the
it's
top
true.
songs.
I do love Def Leppard, but you know,
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
they're in my top five bands. They're not in either of yours at all. So, yeah,
not
obviously,
quite
I
top
think
five.
that's,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I mean, top five is pretty hard. Only five bands get to
that's
be there
true.
out of
It's
all the
true.
amazing bands.
Kicking off the top five, I'm not sure how much of a surprise this is. Short spoiler, I did talk to this earlier at school with Christoph today, this album, so maybe not that much of a surprise.
Okay.
It's only been a little bit since I um listened to it, but
Oh, I
this
think I
this
know.
album blew my expectations out of the water. Although I obviously can't put it higher because of the lack of listening I've done and like obviously the extensive listening over my other top four. So this is the Gangs All Here from Skid Row. So like I said, similar
Nice.
style.
Yeah,
No, but
nice.
you're gonna hate me for this because I did put it this high. However, it's also my favorite album by them, probably. So, yeah.
Okay,
I
it's my second or third, so I can respect it. Like I can respect it.
I
I
think
just
it.
prefer the style and like the singer's voice
Yeah.
too. I know I don't. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Sebastian Bach's voice, which might upset people.
Oh yeah, I'm that. It's okay. I mean, I grew up on it, but
This
that's
is
one of my
this
favorite
is great.
voices.
Like
But
even
it's
people that don't like
not no voice
the original
is
band
forever.
probably would like this, honestly.
Oh
So
yeah.
I would totally recommend it. Like the guitars is great here. The vocals are pretty good for the most part. The songs are really consistent. Nothing bad. So yeah.
Yeah. I think.
Uh,
Yeah.
So
I
great
had a
record
loud
here.
reaction then because I was not expecting that to be in your top 15 for some reason,
I
or your
didn't
top
either.
five,
I only
because
discovered it a couple
you
days ago.
refused to try it for so long.
Yeah, because I
You
don't
didn't
like the
listen
band
to
that
us, and
much.
you refused.
Yeah. See, like you
Yeah, but
never
it's a
know.
different singer, so it's always different.
I
Yeah.
know, that's why I said it blew my expectations out of the water because I didn't really care for the band all too much. But like
Yeah.
this blew my expectations out of the water. So it's one of the best from
Nice.
this year for sure.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Well, that's awesome. Wait, what? Did you have a favorite song on a first
I
listen or
haven't
anything?
listened to enough to it yet. No.
It is pretty consistent for
Okay.
sure. So even for me, it's tough to choose, and I
Yeah.
listen to it a bit more.
Yeah. All right.
All
So
right.
that
So
was
coming in at
that
number
was the first
five,
reaction to the video. This is not a reaction channel, by the way. Um, yeah.
it's because
Yeah.
that was actually a big surprise to me.
I know. I mean, either
Uh,
way, I'll
anyway,
probably react to
Let's
one
move
of your
on.
picks
Yeah.
if it's good.
yeah. I mean, I think it was. It was. I think it's a surprise to you too that it ended up that high, probably.
Oh, for sure.
Um.
More me than you.
Yeah, because I told you it was great. I knew it was good. So anyway, coming in at number five for me is Digital Noise Alliance by Queensryche.
Wow, that was higher
Um,
than I expected.
it was higher than
Nice.
I expected because I really like Operation Mindcrime. I've heard some of Empire. I need to listen to the rest of it, but
Yeah, same.
like this was really solid from start to finish, and I just really liked every song. Forest was one of my favorites, and there were a bunch of others, but it was weird because almost all my favorites were in the middle,
Hmm.
which
Hmm.
never happens with albums. So that was kind of weird. But Hold On, Nocturnal Light, there was a lot of really good ones, and yeah, the Rebel Yell cover was great. So surprised me too. I was not expecting to like it that much.
So my number five. This might be controversial for some people, depending.
Wait, I
Anyway,
think I know what band it is. All right, go. I
yeah.
what?
So I have My Echo, My Shadow, My
I
Covers
knew
of
it. I
Me
knew
by
it. I
AWOL
knew it. I knew
Nation.
it.
Okay, let me just say, yes, it is a covers album, but as a whole, I love it. It's a really great album. Go, do you have something to say?
Real quick. If we were basing this off of like music and not whether in fact these were original albums, it probably would have made it here. However, like I was just including original albums.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't know that
I
like
totally
yeah,
get that. I was
okay.
just like, you know what?
Yeah.
As a whole, I love it. So I just want to say,
Yeah, it probably
yes,
would have been like between the 7 to 10 range for me if it
nice,
was like
nice.
music. Yeah.
So, anyways, it's a covers album, but I love how like they do it in their own style. Like if you've listened to AWOL Nation enough, you're like, oh, this totally sounds like AWOL Nation. Like just the sound, it totally sounds like
Yeah.
them. And I love how like almost each track has like featuring like a different singer that's like really unique and cool.
Yeah. I don't usually like that, but like the collabs they did were with actually talented people and
Yeah,
like
their
very good.
collaborations, oh, they're great. Great
Like
singers and all that.
my two favorite collabs from the album. Can I just talk a little bit about it
Yeah,
with you? Because like I didn't
yeah,
put this on my list or anything, but like the this has become one of my favorites off the album. Kill Me, I know, but like just a friend with Hydro the Hero, who actually has
yeah,
a great voice for a rapper. Not gonna lie, and it kind of slaps. And then also Maniac with like Connor Mason, like two
yes.
great, powerful modern rock vocalists there. You know, so like boom. And obviously I like most of the other tracks. The end of the album is kind of rough, not gonna lie, but
That's true. The first
like
half is better.
the first 7 or 8 tracks are all certified bangers. So yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say something about this too, because this album didn't make my list. It made it number 16. So
Oh, I didn't know
Nice.
like
you were
it
including it.
just
Nice.
yeah, Yeah, we didn't have any rules. I just didn't include
Yeah.
a couple EPs I
Still
heard this year,
impressive
just not
from you
albums.
though, because like it's like your least favorite album by them, and same for me.
I mean, they're such a great
Yeah,
band. Plus,
but
like, it is a covers
Yeah,
album.
literally everything they've made I love, even like their worst stuff, which is
yeah,
still great.
it's a covers album. But the reason it ended up at 16 for me was because it, like a lot of them, I still like the originals better. So as much as I still like them, it didn't improve enough upon the original.
Right.
And like it's solid. All I liked all of them, but just made it at number 16. It was a good year.
Yeah, I just want to
Yeah.
say, like, when I first listened to this, honestly, a lot of the songs I didn't know the originals, although I went back and
I knew
listened to
like
some of
half
them.
maybe.
I knew
Yeah.
some of them, but like some of them I didn't know. But like, as I said before, I love how it has a A1 Nation sound, and they're just like great covers. And I just want to list like several favorites because there's so many good songs. Beds Are Burning, great song, one of
Oh,
my
great
favorites.
song.
Maniac with Connor Mason, amazing. I love like the synth and the guitar solo. Like, wow, that's really good. It's just,
I thought we weren't doing like a track listing, but like go off if you want, I guess.
and then also like as you said, Just a Friend. Like, as after seeing at first, I was not a big fan of it, but after seeing it
Same,
live
but like
and
concert, oh
like
my god, it
screaming
was such
along
a
the
vibe.
lyrics, like as they were singing that, man, that was
Ooh,
an experience. That
you
was
got
so
what I
cool.
mean?
Like,
Yeah.
I love that song a lot more now. It's a great song.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. No, it's really good still. I mean, and I do like how, because sometimes with covers, it's hard to keep your band's sound
It
because
is,
That's
but
true.
they do
just,
it. Yeah.
you're
I
used to
will
some, and
say
they did a
this.
great job with that. So kudos for that.
A song that actually has like a similar like actually quite a very similar chorus honestly, but by a different band, like seeing Death Cab in concert, and then like that one song from their new record which was like I'll Never Give Up on You, like that might be like my favorite on the record now. Like it's just such a great song, and I mean it's probably not my favorite because that album is so consistently good, but like I mean that song, seeing it in concert, like really changed my opinion on it. I liked it. It wasn't anywhere near my least favorite, but it wasn't like near my top, and now it is.
That's just the thing.
um
It's so cool with like seeing
so
things
like, and they
live. It
were
just
literally
changes your
literally
look
came into
on
the.
things.
All right, so this is like where we get into like I love my
I
five and
love these
six.
all.
The difference is that I've like binged the crap out of these four albums like this year, like probably too much. So coming in here at number four, again, no introduction. I wanted to say something, but I won't. So here we have Dropout Boogie from the Black Keys, which was obviously released this year, but it's one of my favorite albums by them, honestly. Probably not my favorite, but it is one of my favorites by them. Um, there's nothing bad on this album at all. It's all very consistent. I mean, opens the album in a great way. I love the first two tracks, and then it continues on that like hot streak and just very consistent amount of songs here. Um, yeah, very good blues slash garage rock kind of sound. Yeah, I just really like it because of that consistency factor, and like also like the top songs are great, and like really anything on here could be a top song, I guess, because like it all has that like upbeat feeling to it. So it's not like slow, like outstretched blues rock. It's like very like upbeat and like fun. So yeah, I've listened to this album quite a lot since it came out. So great record.
Cool.
Nice. I still need to listen to that one. I
The
haven't
only
tried it
the
yet.
only reason I will say this, the only reason is not higher because it definitely could be is because the top three were already kind of set in stone in my mind from the beginning of this video before I even ranked anything. So
Yeah, same. Well, okay, so I knew what and I'll kind of lead into this. I knew what my top four were, and 3 and 4 can be switched on any given day. In any other year, my number 4 would be number 1, and it's Freedom by Journey.
okay, here's the thing. Oh damn.
Yeah.
I will.
And
I was gonna say something is that my three and four can like really switch, and they actually like ended up like with my three being the number four and my four, which I just said drop out boogie being the three, but I switched them around because I didn't like it. And my two and one, I went back like I was like, oh my god, which one do I choose? Like these are clearly my top two favorites from this year, but it's like, oh my god. Um, yeah.
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 So
So anyway, um, number 4 was Freedom. Some days it's 3. It ended up at 4. Most other years it would have been my favorite. The only reason I have it below the other one is I really don't like Holding On, and I'm not a big fan
yeah,
of
I don't either,
Afterglow.
but
And
like it does
Understandable.
have some of their best songs like on it for me, like just in general, and also so like from the
Yeah, I mean,
you know.
I mean, top five is impressive, especially for how great a year this has been. Like, I
and
totally get that.
I listened to this one. I listened to this one a lot for sure.
Wait, that means
Some of
I
my
actually do
absolute favorite
know.
off this album. Yeah, one of my favorite songs by Journey, kind of in general. Like I've become such a massive fan of this song. That's my favorite off this album is Beautiful as You Are. I just think that
Great
song is
song,
Great song,
absolutely
very creative and
perfect
like
in
just
for sure.
yeah. Like that song is gorgeous. United We Stand, Let It Rain, Come Away with Me, Together We Run. I really love this album. You Got the Best of Me, just great album.
Yep.
I will say
I've listened
this
to it a lot.
though. Let me say two things. One, where does this rank in your like catalog for their music? For me, it's seventh. I'm just like general, because like if it's like super high up for you, I would expect it to be even higher than four. I mean, I know it is for me because I already mentioned my four, so it could be one, two, or
7.
three. Seven, yeah.
Yeah, fair.
It's my
Um,
seventh favorite. It's my
yeah,
seventh.
that,
So
that's
our lists are the exact same, except I have to percher a spot higher than you do. I think for Journey.
yeah. Mine goes like Frontiers, Departure, Raised, Evolution, Infinity, Escape, and like honestly, all those six albums are pretty close enough. I mean, they're all great. And then like this one is also
Yeah,
really great. I will say this is probably some of Neil's best guitar playing in like a while. Like he's always been great, but like everything on here is just like sounds so good. Like the audio, like yeah, I don't know how to describe it.
yeah. The
So good.
audio quality is great for
Yeah,
sure. So,
I will say I agree
Anyways,
with you on the holding on point. That song sucks balls, but like outside of it, the rest
I
of
would
the
have loved
album.
to put it higher. I just couldn't.
So I
Yeah.
could spoil your.
After Glow, I'm not super wild about either. It's just kind of meh, but it's a great album.
Yeah, the reason I kind of ignore that all is because there is 15 tracks. So like either way, it's still like bigger than most full albums here. Um, However, I will say I could
I
spoil your
agree, but that was
entire.
just the tiebreaker to push it down to 4.
I
I
It's
will
such a
say
get
though.
that.
small little gripe with it.
Okay,
All right.
anyways, so I'll get to my number four in a sec. I just want to say my two, three, and four, I could switch these around like depending on the mood, depending on what I feel like listening to. I could
I'm
like
honestly
totally switch
very
these around.
curious about. Not curious anymore about Mariah's number one, just because like I already know what it could be, but I am very curious to what Christoph's is because like I
Well,
kind
I'll
of
get
know
to
that
that.
some of the
I'll get to that.
albums, but yeah.
But like
I know what his number 1 is.
my number one is set in stone, but my two, three, and four could totally switch around depending,
Damn, it's set in stone. All right, we'll
pretty
see
much.
about
So number four, I have Asphalt Meadows, Death Cab for Cutie. As I said, I could switch it,
that.
depends on what I
Ooh,
feel like listening to. Anyways, I
yeah,
just want to
good.
say,
You have
great
it a lot higher
album.
than Mariah, so respect. Respect.
Anyways, so great album. I love how atmospheric it is. It's super
Oh, for
relaxing.
sure.
Ben Gibbard has a super soothing voice, especially shows on this album. And the instrumentals are also great. And the vocals just, Death Cab for Cutie, Ben Gibbard, just amazing vocals. Like some of the most soothing vocals I've ever heard.
I'd honestly argue the most. I mean, I've listened to a lot of
Yeah,
soothing
I
vocalists.
honestly have too.
However, so obviously it's somewhere in my top three as I haven't mentioned it yet, along with two other records, which I'm sure you could guess on what those are. But I will say this: this is their Asphalt Meadows record. That's actually my fourth favorite overall record by them, and it still made it in my top three from this year. So
Nice.
like it doesn't beat Narrow Stairs, Transatlanticism, or Plans for Me because those are just like
Hmm.
masterpieces. But like this is like not that far of a step down for me from those albums or anything. Um, yeah. What does this like rank similar to you, like about like the four spot, or
Yeah,
I don't know where you'd
I'd
rank
say
it for
about
the
that.
band.
I don't know, kind of depends.
Yeah,
But also
yeah.
like for
Nice.
favorites, like it's
Ooh,
pretty
I'll be
close.
interested
And
to
there's
hear this.
a lot of good ones. I love almost all the songs on here, but I don't know if this actually. I'll just list like three that I
A
have listed
couple.
as like favorites.
Yeah,
I
there's
could
like
kind of
three
change it
for me
around.
that I could like change around that for my favorite as well. But
So
we'll
the
get to
ones I
that.
have is Here to Forever. I don't know how I survive and Foxglove through the clear cut. Love all these. I kind of depend. I don't know where I'd rank them, but
Wait, what?
it's
Wait,
there.
which three? I wasn't sorry.
Here to
My bad.
Forever. I don't know how I survive and Foxglove through the clear cut.
Funny enough, I don't know how I survive has definitely really grown on me, but still one of my least favorites because it's such a great record. But yeah,
Yeah, but like there's a lot of
Yeah.
just a lot of great ones, and yeah, Here to
there is.
Forever was
Yeah.
like I really enjoyed that song when it came out, and I don't know if I'd say it's my
Same.
favorite anymore, but it's really good.
Yeah. Like they just have a lot of great deep cuts. Like it's not always my favorite. Like when they do the hit song, although their hits are really good. There's no hits I hate by them or anything like that.
Yep.
Um, yeah.
Nice.
So should we get to the three spot now? Top
Yeah.
three from this year.
Top three.
Yeah,
Also, these three are like
I want to
insanely
hear it.
close. So now that I say this record, because it is close, but I don't think I could put it next to my top two. My top two were so close that I'd be interested to see which you think I put at one. So
Let's see.
coming in at number three, this is Unlimited Love from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Um, so this album is 17 tracks. So like obviously there's gonna be a few songs, barely any, maybe like two songs on here I'm not as huge on, which is like the last track, Tangela or whatever. And then maybe like one in the middle, which I don't really remember what song I'd say. But this has some of my favorite songs by them ever, period. This is probably like my third or fourth favorite album by them. Like I love this album so much. Like the Black Summer like opening track is amazing. Aquatic Mouth Dance, Poster Child, love those songs. Here Ever After is pretty cool. Traffic Jam or One Way Traffic or whatever it is. These Are the Ways. Let 'Em Cry is like probably in my top five songs by them ever. It's so groovy, so great. Um,
Yeah, it's a
yeah,
fantastic album.
it's just like this is gonna be an instant classic in like 20 years down the line, no doubt in my mind personally, because it's a comeback for them.
Coming in at number 3 is Diamond Star Halos by Def Leppard, which made
Yeah,
it on all
I
our
actually
lists.
kind of figured that. I
Um,
kind of thought your
so
top two were what they were.
yeah, I mean the ones I've talked about the most and streamed the crap out of, yeah. Anyway, so for Diamond Star Halos, number 1, I love the album cover. I think the album cover is super cool.
It is,
And
yeah.
I have it on DVD or CD, I mean, and I got the colored version, so it's the colored eye, which is really cool.
Nice.
Um, and I've streamed this one a lot. I know part of the other reason why I like this one so much, other than it being one of my favorite bands, is I saw the stadium tour. So I
I
saw
wish
these
I could have
songs
gone.
live, or
That's
some
pretty
of
cool.
them, which were incredible. They opened with Take What You Want, Fired Up, and I think one other one. And I loved it. It was like, I mean, seeing Motley Crue, Poison, Def Leppard, Joan Jett, that was like one of the greatest nights in my life. So, that's, I know, part of the reason. The only reason that it was this one or Journey was going to be 3 or 4, and because
Should have
I'm
been
not a big
Journey.
fan of the
Would have
Alison
been
Krauss,
Journey. You're welcome.
I'm not a big fan of the Alison Krauss songs. This Guitar and Lifeless,
Oh,
they're
that song
good.
is
Agreed.
so boring. I don't like that song at all, honestly.
I agree.
I
I
like
love
it,
the
but
album.
it's at the bottom for me. And
It's their worst song.
are my favorite from the very first time I heard it still is Angels Can't Help You Now,
Oh,
uh,
that's one of my favorites too.
From Here to Eternity, Goodbye for Good This Time, and Take What You Want and Kick, I think are my top 5.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
great album, obviously.
Yeah.
Best
Okay. So
since Hysteria, I think.
Christoph says number three.
Okay, my number three, I have The Gang's All Here, Skid Row.
Ooh.
Really great
Nice.
album, and like I listened to this the first time, I was super impressed. I was like, "Damn, this is good!" Like I like Skid Row, and do like their first two albums. It's not a go-to, not one of my favorites, but I listened to this, and I was like, "Wow, this is really good." And like,
No, and it's like my favorite by them. And me and Christoph agree on that. That's like the one like time
yeah,
me and Christoph like agree on like a hair metal like band
like I
anything
think
generally.
it really depends on what style you prefer, because like their earlier stuff is like a bit ish, like more hair metal kind of different style,
Like
and this is like
yeah,
more
more heavy.
melodic. I'd say more heavy, more melodic, which is my I
Slave to
do
the
prefer.
Grind is very heavy, kind of
Yeah,
metalish.
it's a bit
It
in
is.
a different way, but like I do prefer this style. Don't get me wrong. I've only
Same.
listened to the first two albums, but I do like those. But
Same.
this one is really really good. And
Yeah, I've only listened to
I
this one and then
understand.
the
I mean, it's
first two
different.
records, really.
yeah,
So for the final two, this will be recorded because why the hell not? So in no order, Mariah's top two. We don't know what we picked. Yeah, it's either going to be Unlimited Love or The Gang's All Here. Christoph's is either going to be Rock Believer, Freedom, and mine's either going to be Freedom or Asphalt Metal. So, like, I mean, we'll see. Those are all great albums. I mean, regardless. So, coming in at the number two spot, which will reveal my number one album, but
Yeah.
that's will with the hell with it. I have by Journey.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah,
I
the
knew it.
reason why, can I say this
I
though? The
knew that was
reason
gonna be number
it was
two.
so close between this and one, and the reason it didn't make it is because there's this lovely little song called Track 10 where it's called Holding
Good
On,
point.
and it just sucks balls. And like the rest of the album is so damn great. And like this song just doesn't fit on the album really, and it's not very good. And everything about this song really does suck. The rest of
Yep.
the album is great. It has some of my favorite songs from this year, from Journey, from anything really. Together We Run is a great song. You Got the Best of Me is great. There's also these like hard rockers that are really groovy, like Come Away With Me and All Day, All Night that have really grown on me that I love now. And then like also like Beautiful as You Are and like United We Stand, that kind of stuff. So there's like a lot of great songs. And even like the worst songs on here outside of Holding On are pretty good, really good stuff. This is some of Neil's best playing in a long time, and he's always been great. And like his Eclipse and Revelation work is no doubt phenomenal, but this is even better in my opinion. It's kind of like almost the style of like the 80s guitar playing, which I love. So that's why this comes in at number two. And I will actually explain why number one triumphed all these albums because it is a good explanation, I do feel. So
All right.
All
um
right.
actually
Wait.
wait, I
So
think I do
before
know.
I say this, if someone had told me these were going to be my top two at the end of the year, I would have laughed and said absolutely not, especially when there's a Journey album and a Def Leppard album coming out, because
I mean, it's
I
not
was
always
not a
the
fan of one of
band.
these bands for the
Hmm.
year, and the
Oh,
other
you had
one.
not
No, that's true. I was just shocked, but like I would have been
uh
surprised. But anyway, and the other one
really
I had
yeah.
given up on in the 90s. Anyway, so coming in at number two is Unlimited Love by Red Hot Chili Peppers. The
Yeah, I was
only
gonna say
reason
I
this
knew
came in
that.
at number one is number two. The only reason this came in at number two, because it was incredibly close. I've listened to this album so many times, like I've been obsessed with both my top
Oh,
two.
same.
Was because I don't Tangelo I'm not that big on.
Same.
Heavy Wing, I'm not that wild on, and Veronica's okay. Um, I still like those songs, but yeah, I heard this album and just shocked myself by like listening to it over and over and over. My favorite songs off this album are Aquatic Mouth Dance, Poster Child, Not the One, Black Summer, Let 'Em Cry, which has been stuck in my head for most of the year. So, fantastic
Right.
album. Great job, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way I can tell what you're gonna pick, and then literally like right a couple like probably like 20 seconds before you said it, I knew it was gonna be the Gangs All Here at one, and the reason I knew that is because that's the band you prefer, that's the style you prefer. There's no way in hell that you would ever pick the Chili Peppers over Skid, especially like just for that album, like I think. So yeah, that was just my take on it.
Hey, but I have to say this. I have to say this then. I knew there was going to be a Skid Row album coming out because I do follow the social media. But I thought Unlimited Love was my number one set into it. So I'm pretty shocked. And they're really close. Like, I really love both. So,
Yeah. Yeah, my top two is insanely close. Okay,
yeah, mine is
Christoph.
really close. Yeah.
All right, yeah. My number two might surprise some people, and I'm I
Oh
don't
no.
know. I could change. I don't know. It's still my number two, but it depends. It could be a little bit lower maybe, but anyways, number two, I have Rock Believers, Scorpions. I really love this album. I love almost all the songs
Oh
on here.
yeah.
It's
I
really
thought you were
good.
gonna surprise us and like actually put Freedom at two, and I was like,
No,
really,
no,
Rock
no,
Believer
no,
over
no, no.
Freedom? I find that hard to believe, but yeah.
But like, anyways, also I saw Scorpions in concert. They played a good amount of stuff in this album. It absolutely rocked. I loved it. It was a great concert, and I
True.
got to go for free, which was super lucky. But I guess besides the point. But like, I will say this is my
Yeah.
favorite Scorpions album since probably Crazy World. Just one of my favorites overall. It's just it rocks really hard, like a
It
lot more
does.
than
Like
like some of the other
it
stuff.
has some pretty great original riffs, and
The
stuff
riffs,
too.
I
Like
love the riffs, and the vocals. Like while he's not far from like the best singer, like they're still really strong and powerful. and like not
Hmm.
much weaker than like decades ago, which is pretty surprising and pretty cool. So,
Yeah.
and then I'll just say for favorites, I have three: Gas in the Tank, Rock Believer, and Peacemaker would be my favorites.
Oh, I actually agree with you there. I'd say like Gasmaker and Rock Believer are probably like my top two. I don't know. It's tough. They're great songs.
Yeah, and they played those
Yeah,
three in the
gas
concert too.
maker.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but
All right. So now
whatever.
now we all know what our number one is. I give you the challenge to actually explain why you believe it's the best album of the year. And honestly, you could really make a case for any of these three, in my opinion. Like I totally see the
True.
case for all three because they all have their upsides.
I do
And
too.
no, none of these albums are perfect at all
They're
because they're
all
not
so
even the best
different.
from the band.
Very
They're all
true.
very different. You have an AOR melodic rock album. You have like a hard kind of melodic, like heavy kind of metalish album, and then you have like a modern like indie alt rock album. So like you all, and they're all great. They're like all some of my like favorites for those styles. Although obviously none of these records are perfect because they're not even the best for the band. Um, I mean, actually, well,
Yeah, I
for
mean,
me,
all
the
of them
Skid
made
Row
them
one
on our
is,
list,
but
though. We all have all of them.
That's
for
true.
me, the one you picked, Mariah, is actually my favorite from the band. But obviously, like Journey and Death Cabs are not my favorite from the band. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll go first, and I will explain into wonderful detail because I was coming up with this why this is not just my favorite, but it is for me the best record of the year. Assault Metals from Death Cab. I wasn't even expecting this really to be my favorite. I thought this would for sure end up behind Freedom, guaranteed, no doubt, because they're my favorite band, Journey, right? But like seventh favorite versus fourth favorite, that actually is close for me, even though obviously I like Journey definitely more. Um, but here's the thing, and like I even thought like it might be below Unlimited Love too, like before like I had heard this, and I wasn't expecting it to be this good, but like this is a return to their roots, but they're also progressing at the same time, which I do think is rare for an album to do that. Since it's our number one and we're here at the last album, I will allow for more time because it's the last album. Um, the reason I think this is the best record from this year, personally, is because everything about the songwriting is just god darn perfect. There is nothing wrong with the songwriting. Every song, the songwriting is great. The notes in every song are placed perfectly. It creates this like melodic atmospheric feel, kind of what you were saying, Christoph, when you mentioned it. Wait, where did you put this album?
Um, four.
All right, respect. Ryan, losing respect. No, I'm kidding. Um, I'm kidding, obviously.
Hey, made it top 10.
Unlike the reason this only made it over Freedom really is because like again I'm not as huge on Afterglow, and obviously Holding On is a garbage song, in my opinion, just because there's so much wrong with the production that it's unlistenable nearly. However, everything else on that album is great, but here there's no song I dislike on this album. There's just songs that have grown on me that I like even more now.
Me too.
um so do you mind if I do a run through of the track list to explain why I believe this album is so great?
Sure.
Yeah,
Is that
go
okay?
ahead.
Yeah, you guys can do that too if you want. So track one, I don't know how I survived. I really like the lyrics of this song, and
Love it.
personally, this song definitely grew on me a lot. I really like that it goes from like soft to quiet, so you definitely get that like indie slash like emo sound like that they can kind of have sometimes. And then moving to track two, Roman Candles is like the single here, but this is probably the worst song on the record, and it
I
still
still really
slaps.
like it. It's
It
really
is.
short, but also really good.
I do think it is the worst song because it's the least complex and it's also probably like the shortest. I don't know. I'd have to fact check that, but still a really great song. Track three, Asphalt Meadows, is like very melodic,
Love it.
atmospheric, great. Rand McNally is just like atmosphere. That is literally the one word for
Yeah,
this song. It's
also really good.
atmosphere. And like it's like a great song to fall. Like I actually have fallen asleep to this song like a couple of times, which is not a good thing, but it is a good thing. Don't know how to describe that. Here to Forever, great hit single.
Yeah.
Kind of hit, I guess. I've heard it on the radio,
Me
surprisingly.
too.
They cut out the guitar solo on the radio, and
Oh,
I was like,
that's
fuck
bad.
you. I know. Especially because Death Cab, they're not even a band that does
The
that many guitar
worst.
solos. I
I
know.
hate when radio does that.
Yeah, also for their song on Narrow Stairs, I Will Possess Your Heart, they literally cut out nearly all 4 minutes of the great epic build up in the intro to that song. And I was just like,
Oh,
why?
yeah.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. And then track six, this song is like one of like my this is in my
It's
top five
amazing.
songs of the year, probably, honestly. Foxhole Through the Clear Cut. I didn't even
It's really
like it
grown
that
on
much
me.
when I first heard it, but like this is what it has. It has this almost like nostalgic feel to it, and I really like that.
Yes.
Also, the spoken word is so
I
satisfying. I don't
know.
know why. I
It's
don't
like
even like that in songs much.
it's like telling a story and like their instrumentals are great. Also, this
I mean,
live was
that's
so
why this is my
good.
favorite album of the year. It's a great record musically, but it also tells a story, and I think those are the best records in music. Is like those type of records.
Also, this song like live was like it kind of like foggy almost like they had like the smoke machines and stuff and like
Yeah, they
I
did.
was like oh like that was just magical almost. That was
Yeah,
really
and
good.
then also it gets into like these like grunge power chords at the end, which are just so awesome. And like, it's like I don't know why but the guitar part at the end is just like so much emotion, but I don't even know how to
Yeah,
describe it really. And then track seven, Pepper, definitely a song that's really grown on me. I
me
definitely
too.
really like the piano lines in this. Again, great songwriting for the piano section. Track eight, is like very punk based, and I actually don't. I actually really like that though for this track because again, like I wish all punk singers sound like Ben Gibbard, but hey, we can't get what we want, can we? No. Um, Anyway, point is that it has a really punk feel to the song. Such a great, cool riff, and like the contrast between like the drumming and like the guitar is just so cool in this song. And then Wheat Like Waves, it really does sound like something off of their photo album. This is probably my second least favorite on the album, but I still really like it. It has like a great atmosphere again, you know. Um, and then last two tracks are really cool as well. You got track 10, Fragments from the Decade. I mean, literally this song, like the notes in this song where it goes into like the soul section where it's like do 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 and then it, like continues and it's like I don't know, it's just like really great and cool. And I really like this song even though it is slower. And then track 11 is literally so epic. What a way to end an album. I saw this song in concert. It's like literally changed my whole view on the song. I love this song. I mean, the ending of it is great. It's a perfect way to end an album where it's like do 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 or like that. It's really great. I mean, this is it was close between that and my second favorite, but those are the reasons why I think this is the best record of the year. So, yeah.
Nice. Solid reasoning.
And again, I didn't
Yeah,
expect
so
this to be my favorite. So,
well, we have that in common because I am as shocked as anyone. This one is my top album because I know they've done other albums since the one in 1995, Subhuman Race, but I
mhm.
hadn't heard any since that because I know they've been through Revolving Singers, and I'm just, sometimes I just don't always want to check it out if they change a singer, because especially when I'm super attached to the original stuff. Um, but I'm like, well, I'm kind of bored. Someone told me their first single is good. Let's try it out. Gang's All Here's title track, and I was blown away. And then I got really I can't believe this is actually I'm actually gonna like this one. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, it was a big surprise. The new lead singer Eric Gronwall, he won Swedish Idol, which I thought was pretty cool.
Nice.
Um,
Hmm.
with 18 in Life, he won it with Skid Row's song, so that's how Skid Row found out
That's
about him.
cool. Sweden has some
Yeah.
great singers for
Yeah.
sure.
Yes, Sweden really does. They've got some great singers.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a crazy way this came together. Um, fantastic album. Part of the reason this one made it above my number two is it has 10 songs and it just feels a little more tighter.
Yeah, that
Um,
makes sense. It's such a tight album. Like if I'd listened to this more, who knows? I don't think it would be my top two because I just have like attachments to the top two, but you know, it could go higher for sure. I agree.
right. And there's not a song I don't like. So starting off with the first one, this is one of my favorite ones. I really think they should have released this one as a single, Hell or High Water.
Agreed.
Um, it gets stuck in my head a lot, and it's just a great song. Something I really like about this Skid Row album is the harmonies. Well, I don't know if it's harmonies, but all the band singing
Yeah.
together. And they did a great job with this on the title track. I absolutely love this song. It's one of my favorites, and I think it barely made out on my top 10 like Skid Row songs. So I really loved it. Anyway,
Nice.
number two is The Gang's All Here title track. Blew me away the first time I heard it. I've streamed it so much. Uh, After that, just a fantastic song. Really reminds me of like older stuff, but also new. fantastic song. Not Dead Yet is the third track. That one definitely grew on me because I liked it, but I didn't like it as much as I do now, but I really, really like the chorus, and it's just a really fun song to sing along. And again, I love how the whole band comes together to sing, or
Come
kind of almost not
together.
yell, but you know,
Yeah.
yeah, but sing it. Next one was the third single, Time Bomb. Great song.
Oh yeah, that's
Probably my
great.
least favorite from the album, or one of them, but
It's actually one
great
of my
song. Really
favorites.
liked it.
That's actually, yeah, that was one of my favorites as well.
But I get that.
That's funny because that's probably one of my least favorites, even though I really do like it.
It's a bit repetitive, but
Um,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, I like it. It's just Resurrected is great. I love that one. Um, kind of similar thing. Nowhere Fast. I love it. Probably my least favorite, but I mean, I when I was trying to pick a least favorite or a favorite, it was really hard because I just really love all this. Also, a fantastic song. Tear It Down. I really love the guitar work on that one and just the attitude it
Mhm.
has. That
yep.
was their second single. I think that one's really awesome. My family also really likes that one. We played it a lot. The last two tracks, October's song, I think is my favorite one.
Oh, it's a great one,
Yes,
yeah.
it's the slowest song on the album, but I really like the lyrics and I just think it's a really cool song. I really like
For sure.
how it's different from the rest of the
Yeah.
album. And then last one is World on Fire. Great song, definitely grew on me. Big fan. So that's my number one, which I would not have believed if someone had told me it would be, but awesome, awesome album. Love every song.
Yeah. All right, and Christoph, you are last, so please explain why you believe this is the best album from this year. And honestly, I'll probably believe you because this was my number two. So yeah.
Yeah. So,
It was my number
anyways,
4.
yeah. So number one, of course, I have Freedom by Journey. I love Journey. I am very obsessed with them. I just
Same,
love
yo.
them. So this album really great. Literally, when it came out, I listened to it probably at least like 8 to 10 times on repeat.
Same. I was just like,
I
because
was
like
just
this is
I
the
was so
first album I was
excited.
actually like, okay, I was alive for other albums, but I hadn't actually been a fan. Like, I'm not gonna be a fan when I'm 6 years old, back in
Yeah.
2011. So like, yeah, no,
But like I was just so excited
Yeah.
for this, and I loved it. I
same.
listened to it so much. Almost everything about this, like
I
vocals are
was
great, guitar is
literally
great, drumming is great, piano, synth, that's all great.
no, and it's literally the saddest thing for an album ever because it was literally released in like June of 2022 or so, or July or whatever. Yeah, July.
Yeah,
And I
Uh,
literally was waiting from like literally a year ago from that point in 2021 for
I
this
know.
album.
We
Like
were
that's
like,
how
come
long I
on,
had to wait.
when is Journey gonna release a new album? Come on, I need it.
And as soon as they announced it was July 8th, like we were so happy and excited. And yeah,
Yeah, and so for favorites,
yeah, and then you got me
hmm,
excited about it because I didn't
yeah,
even know all
well, yeah, you were like still like
of them.
discovering a lot of their stuff, kind of too. So
So we were all pretty excited. Yeah, I was. I knew of the band. I knew some of their stuff, but I was just really getting into them. And you're like, you've got to listen to it all before Freedom comes out. You've got to listen to it all so you can listen to
yeah,
Freedom. So
yeah.
yeah, I was really excited to.
yeah.
Hmm.
So anyways, like I just want to say some of my favorites, and like I'm not gonna go through each track, cause like we literally did a Freedom review, like it's on our channel, so
Yeah, yeah.
check that
Good
out if
point.
you
Good
want
point.
to. But like favorites, you got the best of me, Together We Run, and Beautiful as You Are. You got the best of me. I listened like when the single came out, I like listened to it and repeat like a bunch. I still love it.
Same.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
And then Together We Run, like perfect opener, like the piano is like progresses and it's a really great song. And then Beautiful as You Are, it's just a masterpiece. Like it's such a long
It's
song
the
and like the
it's the
acoustic
best song on the
intro and
record.
outro, like it just all fits together so well and I love it.
Yeah,
And for news,
that's some may disagree because it's newer and they're too close-minded to check out anything new, but it's one of their best songs probably from like a technique and like also just
for
like,
sure.
structure standpoint, and it's probably the best song on the record too.
And then
If I had to say.
yeah, and then for least favorites, well, I think Holding On. There's just
Yeah,
something
yeah.
about this. It's just kind of a mess. It's just like holding
It
on.
really is.
It's just kind of like screaming, and it's just a whole mess. And I don't
How
really,
it's like,
I don't really get it.
"You're not,"
And you
like
can't
it's
really
like the
understand what he's saying. And then There's
Yeah,
a
no.
couple others that like are kind of least favorites. There's some that like have actually like lessened for me. Like some of the ballads actually, "Live to Love Again," "Still Believe in Love," they're great, but like there's some of my least favorites now just because the other ones are so great. Just I
Okay,
think
true, but like I still love those
I
songs.
don't get me wrong, I still love them, but I think they are a tiny bit boring, but I do still love them. I just prefer some other stuff on this album, but
Yeah, that's Christoph's
Holding
way to
On is
describe
far below.
greatness. Is like he has to call things boring even if he loves them because he has to describe the difference in how great something is. Which
I just don't
I mean,
like it
it's
as much,
insurance,
but
so yeah.
yeah, almost all the songs besides Don't Go are great, I would say.
Don't go. What?
No,
That's a great
sorry.
song.
That
What?
is a great one. I meant Holding On, of course.
Yeah, that song is balls.
I love Don't Go. Holding On, it's just not good.
Totally. All
Yeah.
right, so those were our
So I think that yeah, top 15 each. I think I'm pretty sure that we would say well,
nobody's
I mean, we
number
had quite a
one
few in common, but
did for
we
sure.
recommend.
Yeah.
No, no one's number one was the same, but we all. I
Yeah,
mean, I'll recommend
ours
any of.
ours
We'll
really
recommend
could
any of
have
ours. They're
been
all
like
fantastic albums.
Yeah, really
well, yeah,
great lists.
ours could have been the same, but it was like really close for me between the top two and mine, like very, very close. And yeah, I will say nobody's number one was like that surprising, I guess, or also outrageous in meaning like oh that doesn't deserve your pick for like record of the year because like everyone's was like a great record, so like I'm not
Yeah.
complaining. Yeah,
Yeah, just great lists and
Yeah,
like
everyone's. I get
yeah.
it.
yeah.
We didn't pick something crazy. We didn't pick the new Nickelback album as number one or
Well,
anything.
everybody's
So,
favorite was in my top
I guess
five. You know,
before
mine was
we
number one,
close this
Christoph's
out,
was number two, and then
yep, yep. No, I mean they were they were all up in there for sure.
yeah.
Uh, so I guess before this, what album or albums are you guys most excited for 2023 that's been announced already?
Great question. I literally made a tweet
No one
about
was
that recently.
asking you. Yeah, no one
Like
was
that's
asking
a
you.
good lead off to the outro though, because we'll probably do this
Yeah, 'cause
again
we're
Yeah,
in a
gonna get
year
or
from
excited
just
now.
for
or just
2023.
Yeah, like
or
I
just
already have
tell us
several
like what some
albums
of
I'm
your
looking forward
favorites.
to, so
Yeah, same. Or just like tell us like which one um yeah, or just tell us which albums from this year is your favorite or like favorites. Um, I uh, I will say I do think there's a good chance that like when the new original, not covers, but new original AWOL Nation record comes out, that could possibly be my pick for
I'm very
2023.
excited for
Although
that,
to
for
be fair,
sure.
you never know with music; it's very unpredictable. But I
Yeah,
that's
that's the
my
fun of it.
out of anything I know, that's definitely my running favorite, just because I literally love them and I'm like obsessed with them. But yeah,
Me too.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Plus, based off the singles, it sounds like it's either going to be their second or third best record. Like it's either going to be like around the Angel Miners / Run level, or like even possibly better than those, depending on the other songs
Possibly.
too. Who knows? It won't be better than Megalithic. I can
Agreed.
guarantee you that, and I guarantee it will be better than Runs though. Those are like the only things I feel like is safe to say. So we'll see.
Right. For me, I think there's three albums that come to mind. I'm probably missing one, but the three I'm most excited for in order. The one I'm most excited for is the new AWOL Nation
Yeah, it's
Me
just
album
because
too.
they do something like so
because
unique and
the
different
singles
every
are
time. It's
awesome.
hard not to be.
I've had them playing. Yeah, no, fantastic singles that are totally different. I absolutely love them. So that's what I'm most excited for. Second one I'm most
Same.
excited for, well, two and three. I don't really have an order for this. 72 Seasons by Metallica, which is supposed to be here in April, I think.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
excited for
ex-
that
Me
too,
too.
but not as much as they will. But yeah,
no, not as much. I'm excited for it. I loved the single we already got, and Metallica. I'm a
Me
huge
too.
Metallica fan.
yep.
And the third I'm most excited for is there's supposed to be the second Mammoth WVH album this next year,
Oh,
so I'm
that'll be
excited about that.
interesting to hear for sure.
Wait, which one?
Yeah, I was a big fan of the
Mammoth
first one, and I saw him in
WVH.
concert.
Oh, nice. I didn't realize that they were doing that. I should put that on my list of albums that are coming out. Yeah, I didn't realize that, so I'm excited for that as well. I guess then too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's put out some singles for it, I think.
Nice.
And they were great, so
Nice.
I'm
Hmm.
really excited.
Yeah, I also agree with like that new Metallica album. Hype for
Christoph,
that.
you got
Yeah, yeah. So new AWOL Nation album, very hyped. New Metallica album, also excited. And then also there's a new Paramore album. Not a big fan of them, but I'm decently excited for that. And
I'm not.
then yeah, that's nice. And then also
Yeah,
First Signal, great AOR band, is releasing a new album too, so that's fun.
nice.
So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff to look forward to
nice,
already.
and there'll be stuff that we don't know about and all that.
Oh yeah,
So I'm excited.
Yeah,
But
totally.
yeah, that's our top 15 each for the year. I mean, there's more than 15 in this video because not none of us had all the same albums,
of
but
course.
great year for sure. Like my
Yeah,
favorite as a whole, like in terms of the amount of music released, maybe in the past decade. Like it's really, I just absolutely
It's
love this
very
year.
impressive.
all right. Anyway, yeah, I guess we're done here. Yeah, so drop your list if you have any in the comments below, and we will see you in the next video. Peace out. Take care.
See ya.
Take care.